Here.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so before we start our regular meeting, we would just like to recognize that this summer, the Hoboken Housing Authority had the privilege of having a basketball league over down by the Marshall Drive basketball courts. And it was the first time that we did something like this. It was a pleasure to have the gentlemen that are here tonight as the champions. They are from the Hoboken Housing Authority. So we invited them. Mr. Commissioner Empasado was kind enough to get us the trophies for these individuals, these young men who played. They played every day, every Friday, Saturday, and they were the champions. So we're very proud of them. You guys represented the Hoboken Housing Authority, and we're proud of you. And thank you guys. You guys would like to come up so they can give you guys the trophies and we can take a picture?
Can we all take a picture with them? Yes, you're gonna do it this way? Yeah. That's fine. Still got the best jump shot here, but that's fine. The only reason I was ever put into a basketball game was a foul out. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You gotta win that league.
So, before we continue with our regular meeting, as we all know, unfortunately, a few weeks ago, we had a tragedy in the housing authority. We lost one of our youth, Mr. Christopher Garcia, and I would just like to have a moment of silence for him. We are now going to start our public portion, so if anyone would like to speak, please sign up. You have 5 minutes to speak. I just ask that you address me as the chair, and I ask that you please maintain and remain respectful to everyone here. Carmen Vega?
Good evening. I just want to address a couple of things real quickly. I wanted to address security. I know there's been an issue with security here, but I had the conversation with Frank and I guess they're gonna take care of the situation. I guess, I don't know, some people say that it's not working. I don't know what the situation is. Also, the landscaping. Last time that I complained about it, the guys, I asked the guys, can you just trim this here? They said, well, that's not in our contract, but I was told that last time that they just came recently, they did trim. So I don't know if it was another company or another group of people that were doing it, but it did an excellent job. Also, the alarm system in the back, I've been complaining about that. The alarm system back there always worked. So we need to make sure that that alarm system in the back of this room, in the back, it goes on, because like that, we can monitor who comes in and out of the building, because I understand that by one of the tenants told me that they would put sticks out there to hold the door open. So that's a problem, whether you have security or not, that's gonna be an issue. Also, some people were telling me about we did discuss about the doors in the, inside the apartments, the closet doors. I was told that that's gonna be, I guess people are gonna have to put curtains or shower curtains, but people still are requesting, Mr. Record, that we do get doors placed there, because doors have been there, and they feel that it's not fair that they gotta put curtains, when in reality, doors, some doors are still working, they just gotta be aligned, that's all that has to be done in some certain apartments. I just try to talk about everything real quickly. My balcony, for example, I don't know how my balcony, right next to the door as we exit, it's on the bottom, it's kind of like peeled, like it's chipped, peeled off, it's a cement came off, I don't know how, but it's happened, so it looks like it's getting corroded, that's what it looks like to me. Also, one of the things is that people have been coming up to me, talking about that they still have the problem with their roaches and mice and all that. Well, I emphasize that what I did in my apartment was to make sure I fumigated, I bought bottles, whatever, and I took my mother out for an hour or two, and then we came back and we cleaned and whatever. So that would be one of the things that tenants could do, but not everybody could afford those sprays, because they do cost money. And not everybody has that money like that, so that's something that we have to discuss and continue going over this as far as the situation with the apartments. And I think that's pretty much, and also, I was talking to, City Line Church, which is the church that I pertain to. I was, asking them today, I was there, and I was questioning, we were going over it and trying to see if perhaps in the future, Danny did tell me, Perez, that it could be done. Perhaps we could have our church come in on Sunday and give service, the English service, which could be done at 11. So that's what we're working on right now, besides everything else. So other than that, I mean, that's all that I have here on my list. So I think I covered everything in less than 5 minutes, hopefully. So thank you for your time, and I hope we could work around this, the situations that we're having. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jaime Figueroa.
Good evening, James Figueroa, Fox Hills, Department of IC. I'm here for two issues. I'm gonna ask you something. So it's gonna be something nice. Okay? I spoke to Mr. Greco earlier this evening. And what I'm addressing now is the senior gala. Maybe I'm saying it too soon, but I feel for the tragedy of the young man that lost his life. But things go on. And this is something that will help the seniors forget about what is bad with housing and the situations they find themselves in. And for now, since I have a meeting with Mr. Greco, I'll let it go. Secondly, is the last 3 minutes I have, but I'm here to complain. Okay, so get comfortable, because you're not gonna like the complaint. This room belongs to the tenants. That kitchen belongs to the tenants, okay? I don't wanna hear that it's because of the pandemic that they're not using it. At times, they don't use it because they'd rather have the lobby to hear gossip. But this is their room. And it must be available every day according to the rules instituted, which says from 8 in the morning till 10 at night. That's also gonna keep them out of the lobby. That kitchen, that's my big beef. That kitchen is being used by housing employees. They're not supposed to be in that kitchen at all. They go in there, they're on the phone, they're eating, there's a giant table in the middle, okay, for them to gather. No, it's gotta stop. That's our kitchen. We're the residents. And if you don't like it, then lock the whole damn thing down. All right? But this is our kitchen, our community room. And you have a guy by the name of Danny Perez. He's supposed to be the tenant advocate for the people. He's got to get on the ball. This hot dog and hamburger stuff you do, bringing insurance companies here, tenants don't need that. It's helpful. Some of us do need that service. But they need to have activities, well-planned activities. Thank you.
Thank you. It looks like a J.Y. Jose? Jorge. Oh, I'm sorry. Jorge, what's your full name?
My name is George Muriel. I live in EAW. I'm here to thank the commissioners.
Excuse me, Barbara, Chair, can they speak clearly into the mic? The court reporter can't understand their name.
Well, I want to thank the commissioners for getting us the security here, but as we see, it hasn't worked out because they're letting in anybody into the building that don't belong. They don't check their IDs or nothing. So if they could find a better company to come to the building, it'll be better. Even 220 Adams also called me and told me about the same problem. And I still thank all the commissioners. I thank Greco, I thank Antino Romano, Brian Stark that helped me get this going. But this company's got to go. They're not doing their job the way they're supposed to. And as he said, with the community room, we do need the community room at least 5 days, 7 days a week, so they could come in here and not be in the hallway. That would be a plus for us and for the security that's out there. It'll make their job easier too. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to thank all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Cheatham?
Good evening, Director, Chair, my man Mike. I reside in 9J, but I no longer call this Spots Hill. I call it Ghetto Hill. Reason being, we have all kind of riffraff and gutter snipes living up in here now. They had to put a letter on the compactor door informing people to stop putting garbage on the floor instead of putting it in the compactor. I've had, twice somebody put these letters on my door referring to me smoking marijuana. I don't do drugs at all. I did it, but I'm not, now haven't done it for years. This is the second time somebody put this on my door. I requested to be placed in another apartment. Haven't received any information from that. I'm gonna say this here with staunch convictions. If I'm abused or accosted, where I fear for my physical safety or my mental safety, I'm suing somebody. Also, somebody stole something from me. They ripped the bag open and ripped the box open like a vicious animal and then left the box on the floor for somebody to show it to me. And then some guy showed it to me what I never seen before in the building. See, so then the front door was kicked in about 2 times recently within less than 6 months. You see, and then they have people, when I'm told, smoking in the hallways upstairs there, doing drugs in the hallway up there. You see, and then just like the man said, all kind of riffraff coming through here, kicking doors in and carrying on. I'm almost to the point where I'm afraid for my life. Now, when I approached the management about this, they claim they spoke to the people about it, but they're not going to tell me, which I can understand because they're afraid of reprisal. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm going to the police, let the police handle it. You see? So then also, in my spare time, pass it around, I started a non-profit organization to send the children of Hoboken to a summer camp. The name of it is Hoboken Children Summer Excursion. I plan to do that next summer. And I'm not asking any commissioner or or city director or anybody for donations because I don't trust any of you. And I'm not asking y'all for anything. I have other sources to get donations from, which are more reliable. You know, it's sad that you commissioners, I love you, Mike, that are here. My question is, what legacy, as I've asked this many, many times again, what legacy do you plan to leave your children and the people here? What are the reasons do you become commissioners? Is it because political aspirations, or that you really sincerely in your heart want to help people? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. That's all I got to say. I'm going to go upstairs and cook me some salmon, y'all.
Thank you. Patricia Waiters.
Patricia Waiters. And for Ms. Madam Chair, I will remain respectful. It is quite hard to remain respectful when you don't get the same in return, okay? So there's all kinds of ways you can be disrespected. Face gestures, body language, and ongoing conversations I had with tenants, several tenants, which are two directors, okay? So I'm gonna stand up here in every ounce of my being, and this is a promise to you. I heard what you said when I walked in, like, Pat, be nice. I'm getting that often. I just left the freeholders meeting, I got to the mic, Pat, be nice. I went to an event with a serious bullying situation, walked in the Board of Ed, Pat, be nice. So evidently what Pat is saying is really touching somebody's nerve. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I just told the freeholders. Ding dong, the witch is not dead. I will fight with every ounce of my being on the strength of my Uncle David Little to bring change. And I told my kids, you better keep this legacy going. I am getting tired of being tired. And any of you are welcome in my apartment to cross that street and see over 1,000 documents, timestamped for years where I helped the tenants at HHA. And just because the color of my skin and racism played a huge part of me not serving in those seats, it bothers me. I'm here tonight to say this, and it's so disturbing. I'm hearing, and I live across the street, my shout outs go to Captain Jack Belly and Yo Force. I just told the county and Esther Suarez, the prosecutor, the same words. Hoboken lately, and Barbara, you know, you born and raised here in Pampers, had turned into a disaster. And we're gonna call a spade a spade. We're gonna protect y'all integrity. I'm asking tonight, every commissioner sitting on this board, protect your integrity. Y'all know how y'all got those seats. Just because somebody had the majority and voted y'all in, anybody but Pat Waiters. Okay, but I do the job anyway, because I have a passion for it. So shame on you to still serve and not serving the people, because nothing's being done but the same political, bureaucratic, dirty politics that's affecting these people. I showed y'all, and y'all shared this picture of a rat in the bed with this little 7-year-old girl. Mice under the blankets of these kids. Mold, and you know what y'all worried about? Contracts. Mr. Sanford, I have a disturbing email I want to share with you with your last proposal, that contract y'all had. He owned property across the street, huge conflict of interest. I want to try to share these anonymous calls with Frank. I want this placed on the record, because now I see I can't depend on my commissioners. Mike had not even served a year yet, and I'm hoping you on board with me, Mike. Mike, I'm serious. I'm gonna take this on a federal level, because taking money for vouchers, skipping the list, playing with the list, saying, well, maybe you didn't qualify, and trying to make your own legislation to cover up your wrongdoing, you shouldn't do it with Pat Waiters. Because when it comes down to reading, I'm a brainiac. I don't have the degrees. I couldn't afford college. I educated myself. It is illegal, okay? We had a commissioner walked out in handcuffs because he thought we was playing. Listen to me again. That little stuff that you gave me, and I recorded our conversation and told you, for quality assurance purposes, you was being recorded and you. You cannot tamper with a waiting list. Okay, that's why we get strangers in here and they're shooting and all that crazy mess. You cannot take money and bribes. Those are federal indictments. Federal indictments, and I'm not making this up. This one lady is so fired up, she gave in detail what time, when, and when it took place, that they took money and you tampered with the waiting list. It bothers me because you told me it wasn't so. I shared this with y'all. And you're gonna try to make up the language and change it. People are hurting. I'm asking you this. And please don't disrespect me, because Barbara asked me to respect you. I respect you. Don't ever do that again, please. I'm asking you nicely. Give me respect and you'll get the same. I just said that. So you don't listen when people talk, evidently. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up saying this, Madam Chair, and I should be addressing you. Okay, because you understand that you're on a government body, so you gotta protect your integrity, their integrity, and your so-called management team integrity. So when somebody's integrity is in question, that's why I stand up here to work with you, not against you. Because see, change comes with accountability. And if we're not holding these people accountable, like I just told the freeholders, why do you expect change? Why do you expect that door not being kicked in? Why do you expect these tenants threatening other tenants, hanging notes on their door? Let's start with this board. Mike, please, Mike, I got an appointment in Trenton, Monday the 17th at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna bring you everything back. I hope it's successful, and we gotta get on the ball. It's time to replace. Accountability and replacement, they have to go. The same way y'all voted to give Franco his job when I was in there fighting, when they brought you from Carolina, and they brought him here, look what happened. Mike, you got my information. Take me very serious.
Thank you, Patricia. You're welcome.
Madam Chair, Pat, if you, whatever evidence that you may have, I don't want you to give it to any of us. What I want you to do is give it to Patrick Giacomo.
I sure will.
Make sure he has that.
Because at least somebody have integrity.
He'll forward that over to the prosecutor's office or
And
anyone else.
I'm already giving it to Esther. I'm
That's
on my
fine.
line.
I wanna put it on record because I want everyone to understand that we take that very seriously.
And I do too.
And if any of that stuff is exactly what you say, we'll make sure.
Discouraged, yes,
We'll
Mike.
make sure.
Will do. Timestamp everything.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate
That
it.
way to stand by her word. Trust me on that.
Thank you. Mr. Manuel Rivera Soler.
Madam Chair, buenas noches a todos y a todas. Buon serata a tutti. Good evening all. I want to see if I can ask a couple of questions before I make my statement. Do we get to, for the residents, in the agenda, you have number 8, 22-10-4, 22-10-5. These are 2 resolutions. They're about, I should put my glasses back on. Awarding a contract, a physical contract, and the other one is resolution amending a shared services with solar. This one I would like, if you can, when I step away, whenever you'd like to elaborate on those 2 for the residents, especially the solar energy pilot program. It's very interesting to find out exactly a little bit more about it, unless you said it at a further meeting and I was not attending. I apologize for that. Now, my comments are more about almost what I just heard here today, the tenants in this building that don't feel secure. That have issues that keep coming up, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago or 3, that they don't seem to be heard. There should be a dedicated person in the authority to snap at those concerns. Even if they can't resolve them immediately, there should be, okay, you are on our list, our hot list. Something broke, okay, we'll get to it. The 3rd in line, the 10th in line. So maybe there is something like that, but maybe a better one expedited for people who don't speak English or, things like this for their safety. So we're talking about seniors, these are people's parents, grandparents. You love them, I love them, everybody loves them. And they should not have to come here and beg for their own facilities either. And that's what.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Patricia, do you guys want to go in the hallway or in the room back there and have the conversation? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So these are the concerns. I've just been sitting here listening just today, plus the people that I speak to around town when I go to different events and meetings. The same concern is safety. Now, a bigger safety issue is the one that happens on the west side in the housing area, and where the person got horribly taken away from his loved ones. Why is only the security there when something happens? This might not be directed towards you, but you could perhaps ask the officials that are here and ask them. And I know they do a good job, and they deserve all the best quality of our admiration. But we also have to ask them, can you give us more? There are young people down there. There are seniors again down there. There's all types of people, they're disabled people. They can't dodge, dip a bullet, because a bullet is coming to get you no matter where you're standing, if it's coming for you. Okay, so I would appreciate, you have to wait, the board, the management, combine statements, send it to the administration, send it to the city council, send it to the police, send it to wherever you gotta go. Like, I go everywhere to advocate for my state. I go up to the commissioners meeting, I go everywhere I have to go, and lots of you know I'm seeing other meetings. So I appreciate the fact that you listen to me, folks, but more than listening, they need action, and especially with the security in this building, west side of town, and everywhere, because we all need to feel secure. And I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sona. So, I just briefly want to say that as a resident here, I understand. I understand the security issues that we're having across the board. But I can also assure you, I can play devil's advocate, I can assure you that this board here is working hard with the elected officials, with the Hoboken Police Department, and with other entities to try to make it better. Unfortunately, this does not happen overnight, and it will not happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take everyone. So when I say everyone, yes, we have to hold our elected officials accountable. We have to hold our commissioners, our board accountable, our director, but we also have to hold the tenants accountable. So it has to be across the board. And we will be making changes and implementing policies, and all for the betterment of this authority. So I want everyone to know that your concerns are not being ignored. They're not. We are working on it. Behind the scenes, it's unfortunately not something that we're doing in the public, but soon enough, you guys will be seeing that what we're doing will help the authority to be a safer place and a better place to live. And not for just you guys, because as a resident, this affects me as well. Anybody else have anything? Director, could you continue with your report?
Again, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
I apologize, I came late, I came late for a preliminary email.
Okay.
So, I do have a chance to sign up. Is it possible I can just say a few words?
Sure.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I can't hear who's speaking. Can you speak into the
Would you
microphone?
say your name into the,
It's James Murphy,
sure.
and I live here in Boston.
James Murphy from Fox Hill.
All right, my concern is, I just recently had a conversation with Director Recco a few weeks ago.
Can you talk into the
I'm
microphone?
sorry, I had a conversation with Director Recco, and also a few months before that, regarding switching my apartment. And I was told in the last 2 years to turn around and get a doctor's prescriptions or letters to tell them that I need to change the apartment. And it took me 2 years to get it. But in the meantime, I did put in for a request to change my apartment. Unfortunately, they're saying that my request is missing. And I didn't make a copy of it, so it's my word against theirs or their word against mine. And unfortunately, what I was told was I'll be put on the list, but that domestic violence, somebody possibly who was missing, or a homeless person might have priority to me. And I'm like, I don't understand. I have heart condition. I had quadruple bypass 1 year ago. So far, I'm doing pretty good, but they never know what can happen. So, I unfortunately, I don't know all of you, who's who. Some of you I know, some of them unfortunately I don't. And I would just like, I was told I was 27 on the list. I'm in the building, I don't know what the difference is moving me from one department to another. I just want to go from the smallest apartment that's in the building to at least a one bedroom. And I appreciate that. If anything, if that can be done, or tell me exactly what the procedure is, how people are actually calculated. At first, they said something about a computer, and I said that doesn't make any sense. But I appreciate you letting me come in and talk, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Mr. Director.
We are, by the way, we are gonna have our, meet and greet next Tuesday. Anything here, 2:00, 4:00, so we're seeing you all then. So thanks, we'll be working on this and getting some answers back to you from that meeting. But I will then give my report. Thank you, Chairman, report. Again, I wanted to echo our grief for the loss of the young man over at Andrew Jackson, North. Send ripples to our community, to our staff, to so many people we know and love. And our message, my message back to my staff is that we must do better. We must do better everywhere. We've been examining ourselves. We do a lot of good things. We do a lot of great things here. But we can do better, and we will continue to strive for that. That's our pledge. We did have a resident meeting out at Andrew Jackson after the event. We had a great group called Blessed that was with us at that meeting. Some of our commissioners, Chairman Reyes was there. We got in the community, we talked about alternatives. We were looking at those alternatives. We're going to be making some changes as we go ahead. You go a little closer.
Yeah. The court reporter is having a hard time hearing.
It's good to have a good tech guy, you know? He does management, he does tech, these things, it's amazing. So we're working hard. We're gonna go to monthly meetings, at our Andrew Jackson North site. We all have that role, as Commissioner, Reyes was saying. We all have a role. We have increased our review of our camera systems on a daily basis since then. We are in the process of creating a new policy to talk about hanging out in the evenings, hanging out in lobbies, hanging out in common spaces. We hope to have that policy to the board in November. And in addition to that was kind of an overall crime reduction plan for 2023. I think there's a number of things that we can do on defensible space planning, on getting more activities if possible, but it's gonna take all of us, right? It's gonna take all of us. We can't do it alone. The city has a part, the police department has a part, the housing authority has a part, and the residents. The police have been tremendous in meeting with us since these events. We meet, and we're meeting intensively to talk about how we can increase our collaboration. We are going to be bringing a group of service providers together to see how we might be able to increase services that come to both our family and elderly disabled sites. Because you're right, David, we need more activities. We need folks to come in and have activities. We are such a landlord. We don't have a ton of money we don't do activities as such. We do some, but we need these outside organizations to come in. So if you know of some, get them in touch with us. We're going to be working with them. But two things are for sure. We must solve the problem. We must do it together. We must do better. And I am pledging that we will not rest until we've made a difference here. So thank you for working with us. We'll continue to meet with you on the meet and greets. We'll continue to be here. We'll continue to try to solve every problem we can. When you came to us a few months ago on the security, we got a security company. So to say we're not responding, we are, and we're listening, and we're spending that money. I'll mention later that, by the way, we are going for a new security company. So that change is coming up. We hear you on that as well. that hasn't gone perfectly, but we're moving ahead. Some of us did attend the Governor's Housing Conference on the 29th and 30th. It was very valuable. We met with the Housing Finance Agency professionals. We met with the DCA professionals. We met with the folks that are going to be giving housing assistance grants over the next year. We had a chance to do one-on-one, face-to-face meetings with folks. We met with different suppliers. For example, we met with 3 new laundry suppliers that we're going to be itching to get in. So those are valuable meetings when we get together. I don't know if we had Chairman Reyes and Commissioner Seitzman and Commissioner Sanford go along on that trip. That was a very valuable time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. The Harrison Gordon's Courtyard will be dedicated on October 29th for Arlette Braxton. We invite you all to that. We'll be sending out notices on that shortly, and we are moving toward dedicating the Marshall Drive Horseshoe in memory of Ms. Kyle and Malone. Hoboken Housing Forward, kind of a quick update. Memorandum of Understanding between the city and the Housing Authority has been approved, has been signed. You approved it last month. Thank you, Councilman, and everyone for your help on that and pushing that. The area in need of redevelopment study is underway and coming to a conclusion here very soon. So we're hoping maybe November, December, we can have that approved through the council.
I'm open.
We're pushing. We're all pushing. And we have before you tonight a HUD-required study as an obsolescence study. Before we can go ahead and proceed with further work and financing and on our main campus, we have to do an obsolescence study that proves that the buildings in the main campus particularly are obsolete. We gotta know it, but it has to be done in their format, so we're asking you to approve that contract tonight. We are arranging an initial meeting, and we talked a bit in Atlantic City about this with the Housing Finance Agency to discuss the future allocations of tax credits. We learned that their new QPA is coming out, QAD is coming out in August. So we talked to them about meeting as soon as we can to talk about us being in the best position we possibly can for going after some of those tax credits this year.
Do we have that date?
We don't have a date. They just said it's coming out sometime in August. They don't have a date, right? It could be September, but that's the Housing Finance Agency. That's their thing, right? But they're aiming for August. We're studying the options on bringing on our legal counsel for future development. We will be holding a special resident meeting at our Monroe Gardens 221 on October 26th, 6 o'clock. And we are going to do a presentation to you on everywhere we are with our redevelopment and renovation plans. Where we are with our strategic plans, we're going to explain to you in depth what this whole area in need of redevelopment means, what our redevelopment plan means. After that study is done, we're going to have the folks from the enterprise partners with us. We'll be giving you an in-depth study of where we are, where we've been. I know it seems like things are quiet, but there's been a lot of work going on in the background. So we'll have some good information for all residents of the Hoboken community on October 26th at 6 p.m. at 221 Jackson. I did meet with the Hoboken Clergy Coalition this past month and went over our strategic plan with them and answered many questions. And that's an example of what I've said in my report, that if there is a group that you want us to meet with, we'll be glad to go out and meet with them. And I think they're very impressed, fair to say, with where we are and what we're doing. We reviewed our development values that have been passed by the board, and I think that really resonated with them. They understand we are protecting our residents as we go through this whole process. Residents are number one. Security policing issues, we are rebidding our security contract. That's happening. So the comments about the security firm that we have now not being totally responsive, we heard you, and a new one will be on the way. So we have to rebid it, so it's going to take us a month or so. In the meantime, the old company will continue to work with us And, you know, not to say they've done terrible things. There's been some good as well, but it was time for us to switch hands.
And Mr. Rickle, just so we're on the same page, we should be getting bids back on November 4th. So we can bring it back to the board at the November board meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're pushing. We'll be out there with meet and greets, and again, I encourage anyone that wants to meet with me personally to come on in, set up an appointment. If for any reason you would set up an appointment in the past, and for any reason it's fell through the cracks with my crack, we do with my team, we do a lot of resident meetings. So please come on back in and say, hey, where am I? Right? Give me a call personally, or get with my crew, get with Ms. Lourdes, and we'll make sure you get scheduled in. Okay? With our policy and outreach, we are developing a resident handbook that will be unique to each of our sites. Along with that handbook, we're developing a video series of training for residents on what our lease means, where we're going with our leases, what our individual policies are on each site, kind of housekeeping policies. So that's under development right now. Kurt's leading the charge on that. Our third letter of our newsletter has been published, and now that we've got Ms. Shaw on board, we have the capability to track and apply for grant opportunities. So far, since Ms. Shaw has been on board, we've applied for a $3 million additional capital fund dollars. We haven't heard back yet. That's for agencies such as ourselves. And we've also put in the application for the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. 2 grants that took an amazing amount of work. So we thank Corinne for that. And we now are tracking every grant opportunity that comes down the post. Our proposed changes for our ACOP on drug abuse and criminal activity. I did meet with them today. They're going to check out of their shop to see where it is. And we talked and said, look, we think that you're past your deadline, but we'll give them the courtesy of getting back to us over the next few days. We had a meeting with them this morning. COVID, we're continuing with CDC guidelines, a little uptick recently, but our offices are reopening. So all of our offices should be reopened to you, kind of post-pandemic now. I think the CDC has opened it enough that we can start opening our doors back again. So you're going to see that happening over the next weeks, as a matter of fact. We have hired a new plumber mechanic, yay, and he's also serving as an ERP with us, and I think he's a very capable individual, a very good guy. He would have been with us today, but he had to go out of town on a quick personal emergency, so he will be back. We'll introduce him at a future meeting. I am officially sad to report that our maintenance director has left our employment. So we're working on that. I'm meeting with the enterprise partners to look at staffing and organization. And we're going to have some suggestions back to you next month. So, Fox Hill Gardens project, the renovation work has started. I hear the top floors are lit up like we haven't been up there yet. We're going down and replacing the lighting in the hallways. So that's our first step. You're going to be seeing that come on down to all of Fox Hill. Housing for Hoboken, the new trustees met on October 3rd. We welcomed Jeannie Rodriguez and April Harris to our Housing for Hoboken team. We went over a lot of history at that meeting, where Housing for Hoboken is, what the responsibilities are, etc. And we're going to be continuing that process with them on November 7th. Attachment 1 is our monthly vacancy report. We are holding steady at 95% occupancy. We did a brief jump into 96%, and then folks moved down to their level. So we went back to 95% occupancy. Again, that's been HUD's goal, so we're meeting that. We're not going to be happy till we get to that 98%, and we'll keep pushing as hard as we can until we get there. But we had 95% occupancy. We also had 12 units that were also ready that are now in the lease-up process already this month. Right, Frank? Anything to add to that?
They are leased up?
They are leased up. We're fine. We're for what building?
So the 12 units that are ready have now been assigned to the families and corresponding, and they're just missing items. Some of them are cabinet issues, some of them are refrigerator issues. Those have been, so for, as soon as the parts come in, Local 55 is off right now this week. As soon as Local 55 comes back, is the finishing process, those people are already ready to go. Okay, so the 12 units that are ready right now are already assigned to the This past September, we had 11 total move-ins, 10 move-outs, and we did 3 transfers. So we're moving ahead. So far this year, we've occupied a total of 155 units, with 119 new move-ins and 46 transfers. We got a busy year. Special capital projects, housing, finance agency funding, the boiler work at Adams is in the very final punch list phase. It's actually working, it's providing heat now. That will end our work with the Housing Finance Agency special $12 million.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, if you'd like to have a conversation, can you step out? I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman. Our emergency generator work is in process, but again, that's not going to be completed, we don't believe, until spring, just because of supply chain. Supply chain's hitting us everywhere. Last, our new compactors is being installed at 540 Marshall. That'll leave us with no compactor that's over 5 years old. So we're kind of fresh on our compactors finally. That infrastructure is important. You know, it's boring, right? But our elevators that we've accomplished, our roofs that we've accomplished, the compactors we've accomplished, the boiler work we've accomplished is huge, and we keep pushing for that. One of the things that I do have to mention, though, that's really coming up in the maintenance section, though, which is some bad news. You know, we had a fire at our Harrison Gardens complex, which knocked the elevator out. The water from the fire department knocked the elevator out at 310. The elevator company ordered a new part. The part took 2 to 3 weeks to come in. They put the new part in, it was a control panel, and it immediately frizzed out. It immediately blew out the new control panel. So they had to give us a new proposal for a more extended repair job on that elevator. So they are expecting that it's going to be another 2 to 3 months before that elevator is operational again. There are some gardens.
So what are we doing for the seniors that are residing in those?
So we're talking to the seniors about anything they might need. I mean, if they need anything from us, we're talking about delivering food, delivering pharmaceuticals if need be, providing links to food delivery. If anyone needs that kind of help, reach out to the central office or managers. Our manager said that right now there's no one that's completely immobilized there. That, you know, from the 5th floor up, folks tend to go over. And you know, you can walk over the roof to the other building and use the elevator. And from the 5th floor down, they tend to walk down. But it's not good news. Not good news for any of us.
So in reference to what you're saying, Director, about walking the roof, so I got a complaint that needs to be cleaned up there because they're walking their dogs on the roof.
We understand, and we, as a matter of fact, we just doubled our cleaning crew there this week because we had the same response. So instead of the one person, we got 2 that's assigned to that building, because not only that, because the steroids are being used, they'll be monitored as well. So we're doubling our cleaning crew over at that building. And I encourage anyone who knows anyone that needs any assistance because of the elevator issues, please reach out to us. We'll respond as soon as we possibly can with any of our resources. Not good news. C2G funding is under design, thanks to the city for the 2021-22 funding. Management has been focused on vacancies on our tenants' accounts receivable project. Frank, you want to talk just shortly about the letters going out so everyone can be up with us? And maybe you can start with the folks that have been, I think there are Foxville today, right?
Yes.
Anyone meet with the Foxville folks today, with the folks there? Anybody here? Rental relief program? Yeah, they're great. So thank you, Barbara. She, at our last meeting is when we started the first conversations about.
Mr. Marchand, I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So last month's meeting was the first time we introduced the concept of the letters were gonna be going out. We need to, the accounts receivable need to be taken care of. So it's a big effort that we're gonna do, and we're gonna try to get everybody as much help as possible. Everybody's gonna have the opportunity to enter into a payment. So if they have, for whatever reason, fallen behind on their rent, it takes it off of their late rent. It does become a repayment, but it's a different thing. It's not, you're not outstanding on your rent. As long as you make your payment, it will be affordable for you. So the effort started today. They were here, and there's dates this month to help the 3 senior buildings. Today was Fox Hill. We're gonna be at Adams and Monroe in the next coming weeks. And the goal is that if all the seniors come down, they might not be able to get all the money that's owed help with. But if they can get a little bit of help, and then we can enter them into a repayment, the repayment is smaller, and it'll be a little bit easier. We're gonna continue to see if there's any avenues of funding that they can apply for. But the reality is that if we do not collect rents, we cannot service the tenants. And that is the most important thing that we need to remember. We wanna be able to do as much as we can, but that comes from the money that we receive from HUD and from the tenants. And unfortunately, like it's been said before, that it's not a problem unique to Hoboken. This is something that happened across the country, and not just in public housing, right? So there are private landlords that are experiencing the same heartache with their tenants, and everybody's going through it together. So if we can just afford a plan that people can participate in, the goal is not to evict anybody. The goal is to get everybody right and onto the redevelopment. That's the main thing.
Thank you, Frank, and I'd like to reiterate, just because this is so important, and because it's affecting so many of our residents. We had approximately 700 families that were behind in rent. Each one of those families is going to get a letter, and that letter is going to say, "Dear family, you are behind in your rent. Come and meet with us. Come and let's sit down, and let's go through what your issues are." So some of the families, for example, are going to be able to be helped today and tomorrow and the next day with the help of Hopes and with Ms. Reyes has put together along with Frank and us, that the rental assistance program can help families. Other folks may not qualify for that. During the pandemic, there was word out there that you didn't have to pay your rent, and you did. There was a knowledge that courts weren't taking any new cases. They weren't. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have kept up with your rent, right? So now we have to come back and knock on that door and say, "Hey, you haven't paid your rent for a year. We're here to say we need to work something out. We're not here to evict you. We're here to work something out. We don't want people to lose their homes. However, if folks don't respond to those letters and we outreach and they just blow us off, at some point we are going to have to say, you are going to get a notice again, and we're going to have to see each other in front of the judge. We don't want that. And we want every single person we possibly can to work this out realistically, affordably, in some good fashion with us. But unfortunately, we have to do this. This is law. In many ways, this isn't our money. This is HUD's money. And we are obligated under law to collect this money. And we will do it passionately, we will do it humanely, but we must do it. And so, as you commissioners get the calls, right? And we talked to HUD about it today too, so get ready, you're gonna get some calls. They are, by the way, I can say this, are they very impressed with the plan that Frank and us has worked out on how to approach our residents, and how we've divided things out and how we're gonna implement this. So, we put it into batches of people that owe us less than $1,000, easy, work out with them. Then we've got another batch of folks that owe us between 0 and 10,000, and then we've got a very few that owe us more than that. And we're gonna work with each batch fairly and humanely as we go through the next month. So I just wanted to spend a moment to say
this is happening. This is not maybe these letters are going out. Mr. Frank?
I just want to clarify one thing. The letters that went out are notices to quit and demand for possession. So the action is to not go through with that. They must contact us. So, but it is the official notice because folks are behind, like you said, a year to official rent. And we are at that point for them. If they call us and we enter into a payment, then that avoids that. But the letter is a notice.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Good. Get my terminology wrong. What's happening? We've met twice with Harold and our fee accountant, our attorney and fee accountant. We've made significant progress on getting funding availability and wording for project-based voucher RFP. Again, I know I've said it many times, but we're working toward getting that thing out. And we hope to have that out soon. Our maintenance manager, Jackie Medina, and maintenance supervisor, Sammy Fermain, are currently leading the maintenance department in the absence of our maintenance director, and we thank them. They're doing a great job. We continue to work on special emergency and preventative repairs. In your attachments, I think you can take a look at those again. We do a lot of work. We're in the bathrooms renovating them, we're in the units renovating them, we're in the kitchens renovating them. We're dealing with plumbing problems on top of our plumbing problems. And again, they just did an incredible job from our staff just today on a unit where we had leaking coming from under the soffit, where they had to go up 2 floors to replace the whole plumbing stack up 2 floors, as well as the whole assembly, then put things back together. This is happening on a regular basis because our buildings are obsolete, because they're old and they're falling apart. And we will keep that work going. And I want to say again to residents, if you've got issues of mold in your units, if you've got issues of extermination, we know how to deal with those. Please come in and see us. We're working diligently on extermination. Extermination is just huge right now. We're doing special efforts on rodent infestation through all of our sites. We are working on origination points, whether it be our basements, whether it be our boiler rooms. We're exterminating and cleaning throughout those places. We can make a unit rodent free, but it takes the cooperation of the housing authority, the exterminator, and the resident, right? When we come into your unit, we must do a thorough inspection, and that means the whole unit, right? If you don't let us into some of your bedrooms, we gotta get in there in case there's a place that the rodents are coming in. You need to work with us. So we need to work with you, you need to work with us. If we can get into your entire unit, and I'm sorry if you've got a closet that's just got junk, we've got to get it out and then get it back in. But we need to take a look at those areas. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, right? But we can't get rid of the rodent problem in your unit without doing that thorough inspection and getting all of those access points closed. A thorough cleaning, making sure that food waste is eliminated or protected, so they have no feeding sources there. There are rodents throughout Hoboken and they're hungry. And if they're smelling something they can smell something from yards away. They really can. If there's something that's smelling that they're hungry, they're gonna come into your unit unless your unit is sealed, and we know how to work with you on that. So once all of that is done, the exterminator does their job, it comes in. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 visits, but we can do it. We make unit after unit rodent free, but we need to work together on it. The addition of the gate at Fifth Street is complete. Yay, and the back of Mama Johnson Field. We are working on the repaving, getting bids for the repaving of the traffic circle here at Fox Hill. And we're going to be doing some work where it's puddling in the parking lots here at Fox Hill as well. The pressure washing throughout the housing authority continued this month. The painting of Adams Garden lobby is complete. We're continuing to tree trim. We're preparing our snow removal equipment. We've got our shipments of salt coming in and stuff. It's going to happen. We're going to be there soon. Our boiler systems are up and running. I think we're ready for that cold. And we are rebidding our laundry room facilities. In finance, our 2023 budget submission to HUD that you approved over the last couple months, our HMFA billing for project closeout there, our RFP this month for obsolescence study, our bidding process for our towing contract, which is in front of you tonight, and the housing choice voucher budgets took up a lot of time there. And I think that Daniel Perez is on the line with us.
I am.
Daniel, you want to tell us a little bit to close out our report on resident services?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Recco, and hello, commissioners. Just wanted to highlight a few things that happened this month. So, really thankful to Hoboken Grace. They have their annual community service. They brought many volunteers from all over Hoboken to come to the courtyard, Harrison Gardens courtyard, to beautify, to do some painting. It was really great to have those volunteers come back to our property. We also had another group painting the fire lanes between 300 Marshall and 560 Marshall. So that was great. They were excited. One of our resident advisory board members, Ms. Sandra Smith, was also there participating in sweeping the street. So we're really thankful when the residents of the city of Hoboken can come and join this amazing program through Hoboken Grace and provide this outreach service and volunteer service for beautification of our site. So we're really thankful to the residents of Hoboken and to Hoboken Grace for having this mechanism for the residents to be able to volunteer. We have been doing some great work with the Hoboken Library. They continue to bring services and support to our residents. The 15th, they're having their annual literacy festival at the Church Square Park. That starts at 11 a.m. They're going to have live cooking classes, live music, free books, and other arts and crafts, and many activities for the whole family. So we welcome all of the Hoboken Housing Authority residents, of course, to join that particular event. And that's this Saturday at Church Square Park. The Hoboken Public Library also has this new initiative. They want to get some comments from our residents and the rest of Hoboken. They're formulating the strategic plan on literacy and the future of the Hoboken Public Library. So they're conducting a survey. You can find the survey tomorrow, link to the survey on our website. But now you can visit the Hoboken Public Library website as well and participate in that survey and share your comments and some of the things that you would like the library to provide to the community. One more thing, we also have this organization started by Mr. Joe McDonald, who is our resident council president for Andrew Jackson South. They started this organization called Family Hood. They are running a dance program out of the 411 Marshall Drive Community Room every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. They're serving about 35 to 40 kids. So any parent interested or grandparent interested in joining this program, this dance program, can contact Mr. Joe McDonald and Jolinda. We'll be able to also share more information on that. The director spoke on the rededication of the Harrison Gardens courtyard in honor of our resident council president for Harrison Gardens, Ms. Arlette Braxton, and that's going to be October 29th. So we hope that everyone can join. That starts at 11 a.m. We also have a pretty busy month with a bunch of Halloween events. We had our first pumpkin picking event on the 8th, right? And that was the Family Hood that was held at 221 Jackson Street for our kids and families and seniors. On the 22nd, we start our first Halloween party at Christopher Columbus. So that starts at 4 p.m. and then followed by some of our senior events later that week. And those are Halloween lunch parties. And I'm so thankful to the Hoboken Public Library for always providing the DJ services for our housing authority events. And then finally, on the 29th, we have Familyhood with their annual trunk or treat. Last year, it was amazing. We had an amazing community participation. So we hope that the community can come back again and join in this amazing event. And that's going to be on the 29th at 4th Street and Harrison Street. So please bring your cars, decorate them, and let's have some great time. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, director.
Thank you, Dan, and that concludes my report.
So Director, I have a few questions on your report. I know you stated that the gate on the Mama Johnson field was placed. I saw that, but is it currently working? Because I know at the time that I saw it, it was just locked.
It needs a panic bar, and that's on order and coming.
What's that?
A panic bar?
Panic bar, so.
There's a panic one.
Yeah.
And then, about the exterminators, I know that we all received an email today about exterminators going to residents' apartments without an HHA staff. Is that what's happening? Because honestly, that should not be happening.
Because we do not, we traditionally have not had an HHA staff member with every contractor that we have going into apartments. We don't have enough staff.
No, I understand, but at one point, Oscar was going with the exterminators to the apartment.
A long time ago.
And I could see how that could be concerning, though, to a resident who doesn't know who they are or why are they there, and are they actually keeping the schedule, or have the residents received the schedule of when they'll be going to the apartments? Because I live in the south, in Andrew Jackson South, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know when they go, what day, or the time that they're there.
Yeah, well, I can look into the schedule with you, and I think, we can always, if the board insists, we can send somebody with all of our contractors, but that takes away from cleaning, understand there's a trade-off.
No, I understand that, but
Somebody
Oscar
has to
doesn't
spend
clean, he's in the office, and I'm not trying to be difficult,
No, I
but
understand.
that is definitely a concern of mine. If we as an agency have an outside contractor, that outside contractor should not be showing up at residents' apartments without a representative from the housing authority. I'm sorry, that's my feeling. I'm pretty sure that's the feeling of the majority of the residents of the housing authority. And it was done in the past, and I get it, we're short-staffed. But now, God forbid, something happens in an apartment with a resident, and it's just the resident and that contractor.
Again, they're licensed and bonded, and we could certainly, if the board wishes, start doing that. But there is a trade-off. There is always a trade-off when you have that work. We hire contractors so our employees don't have to do the work. And if they're going in with them, we'll find somebody.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, if I may.
No, it's on.
No,
I had you muted for.
No, the whole thing broke. Sorry. Maybe there's a happy medium there. Maybe there's a way that we can track the residents who have that concern and then send someone with them. Because I understand your point to say that that trade-off is actually gonna inhibit us in other ways. So maybe there's a way where we can track those residents who have that very concern, where they want someone from the housing authority to be with the outside contractor. And then the ones who don't have that concern, that's fine, send them on their way. So, and I don't have the answer to how to do that, but maybe we can figure that out.
So what I will say, Chair of the Board, is that we'll get together with maintenance, take a look at this issue, and see what we can do about resolving it.
I also wondered, I know you guys spoke about the dedications for Ms. Arlette Braxton and for Ms. Kayela Colon, and I don't know how this board feels, but I also feel that Christopher Garcia should have a memorial at the basketball. And the reason I'm saying this is because, if many of you guys don't know, I met Christopher Garcia, who Mike Singleton, who ran our summer program basketball. And that was the first time I met him. I didn't know him. I've seen him in the community. And I met him during the tournament, and he became a very big part of our summer league program. He was there when Mr. Singleton couldn't be there. He made sure the area was cleaned up. He was at every game. that they had. And I remember meeting him, and the first thing he said to me is, I want to give back to the youth that are here, that the younger youth, basically. I want to give them what I didn't have at one point. So he noted it, and I know Mr. Greco can echo this, and during the candlelight, they had the friends talking about him. And, you know, they said as a kid, he was a tough kid, but he turned his life around, and he was doing good for the kids in our community. Although he wasn't a resident there, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think that it should be acknowledged. That was a senseless act of violence, and I don't think that a memorial would be something, a plaque on the basketball court is too much to ask for.
Yeah, my only comment there would be, there was an individual shot and killed that was a resident of the housing authority, like 7 years ago, I think it was, Jimmy Smith. He was killed in Jersey City. He was a housing authority resident, basketball guy, coached him. That's why when we redid the basketball courts director, put the glass backboards up, that was in honor of him. And the discussion at the time was if we can name the court after him, and it's like we couldn't do it, bottom line. So it's like I don't know, like a precedent that was set then, and I don't know if, you know, it's tough. Obviously, we should try to do something, but I don't know if a plaque on the court is like the right thing just because we didn't do it back then. If that makes sense. I'm sure there's something we can do.
Why you guys can't vote?
Yeah.
It's like, I was talking about, but why you can't vote?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You know, and this is an issue that we kind of run into all the time, even at the city level, right? So at one point, we were renaming streets and, you know, like memorializing people, and it just gets to a point, sometimes it just gets overwhelming, because if you do it for one person, then you have to do it for so many others. And then you run out of places and things and benches, and so I always suggest potentially doing like a memorial wall or a memorial plaque, like maybe on the administration building, where then we could add names to it, right? So it would almost be like, you know, this is one generalized memorial.
Oh my God, what the heck?
For those residents, you know. Laura, not on mute, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I think that's kind of, again, almost like a happy medium where we get to honor our residents, we get to honor those who give back to our community, we get to honor those people who lost their life or have been their life been taken from them, right? So I think that's something that we could probably look into, and then we get to honor all those other people as well, which is nice.
We're talking already about trying to start a scholarship in his name, you know, to try to impact a Hoboken high school basketball student athlete, you know, going to college in his name. That's ongoing every year. I'm working with one of his dear friends, Rick Selleck, who's a Hoboken resident, plays in our men's league. So, you know, we're definitely trying to do things to honor his name and what he did for the youth of the housing authority. And to I agree with you. That's another step that we can do for sure.
So what do you think about that?
Have we talked to the family?
Yes, I actually reached out to the family. I will, you know, go back again and verify everything, that everything is okay. Obviously, we don't want to fuss about it, and we don't want to make anyone, everything is so new and it's hard, you know. So I have been in contact with some of the individuals involved in the family, and I just thought that because he was from down there, although he didn't reside there, all his friends, the guy was down there all the time, and he wasn't, he was trying to get back, honestly, and he was giving back for the very same, and this is what angers me, he was giving back for the very same thing he got killed over, gun violence, okay? we started this league because of the gun violence we were having in the housing authority. Right? And he loses his life 2 weeks later after we finish our thing. So I just hope to think about it.
I'd like to just chime in and say I agree with Barbara. It's been real hard. You know, Barbara is much closer to the community than I am. And over the past 10 years, I've seen certain people show up to the meetings once in a while, and some people show up every meeting. And it's going to be, it's sad that the people who have really shown up, they're not going to be showing up anymore. I think Barbara's right. We should do some kind of memoriam or dedication, and however you want to do that, Barbara, you have my support.
Thank you, Jay.
The question, thank you. The question for Director Recco, the maintenance director, is there a reason? Can we say what was the reason why he left?
Personal reasons.
And
that's what he gave to me.
Do you have like a reason why they keep leaving in such a short amount of time?
I don't think the last maintenance director left. Well, there's one before the last. It wasn't a short amount of time. He was here for quite a while. The last maintenance director decided he had other opportunities in his own business, and this one, personal reasons that I don't think would be fair to him for me to say in a public meeting. But he had his own personal reasons that he needed to.
So the one that was hired before him,
It's a tough job.
he left within 2 months, right?
Yeah, he left quickly. He was in over.
And this one, how long was he here for?
He was here about 4 months. It's a tough job. You've got to be tough.
And, I mean, maybe it's something that we have to like do a better job in the job description, or maybe they could shadow for a week before during the interview process, try to give them an idea of what's going on, because it's tough to hire someone and they leave, obviously,
We know. And we're going to continue to look for that right person. We're also going to be talking about some alternatives that I'm going to be coming up with and proposing, and see what else we might be able to do with that position to give it a little more help. So I think you're going to see us come back with some proposals, but it's really hard to find that right person for a job like that. It's a tough job.
Do we have any updates on, we were trying to do an app or some type of mobile application for maintenance requests, where someone could go on their phone and put it in and see where they're at and what the update is? I mean, this is probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah, you want to talk about our portal a little bit that we're going to be rolling out soon?
We're working the final step.
Hey, use the program.
The final steps that we're working on to open the portal right now, we actually have it already. It's on the HHA web. The next step is now to get the banks, we're going to need to accept direct debit and accept credit cards. So we actually have a training tomorrow for the portal with the managers, and we should be rolling it out soon, hopefully in the next few weeks. The tenants will be receiving a letter that's going to explain to them the process is. You're going to get a code. You have to open up an account. And once you have your account, you'll be able to see your certification. You'll be able to see if you have any work orders. You'll be able to pay your rent. If you have a repayment, you'll be able to do a repayment through there. You will accept credit cards and debit cards, and then you can also, the debit and the credit cards do have a fee attached to them. It's like 2% or something that's handled by the company that says it here. Or they can sign up for direct debit, which is free. That'll be they just give their credit card number, and then every month. And the other advantage of that is that, tenants are going to change depending on their recertification. So this way, if their rent change and they forgot to write the new amount, this always just takes whatever the most current amount it is.
Right.
So that will help them in that.
Frank, we're gonna make that mandatory for all residents that they have to participate in the portal?
The problem is that not everybody has time. So we can't make it
Good point.
just for that.
Sure. No,
But,
no, I
what it is an also the convenience and I keep it as soon as people sign up. Where it's gonna spread, oh my God, did you?
Yeah.
Certainly, even if you don't use the portal, just to be able to sign up for direct debit, you don't need the portal for that.
Right.
If you, once we're up and going with the bank, it won't matter, but, that will go a long way for that.
Okay.
And most importantly, to your question, which was about the work orders, they will be able to open up a work order and see that there's a work order there.
Last thing for me is, can you give us a boiler inventory of exactly which ones are new, how many are new, what was the oldest one?
I'm glad to give you my next one.
Yeah. Just shoot that out of every single one of them.
Do we have any more questions? No? So moving on to the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
The police, I remember at our security meeting, no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we were gonna give them an opportunity to just give like an update, at each meeting, helpful hints.
You're right,
Right.
you're right.
So
You're not-
they're sitting here, and they take the time to be here, and I think it would be nice to get some stuff on record.
Yeah, the chief said they were going to speak at this meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Before you guys
He's
speak,
got a little tidbit for you. Okay.
I just want to thank you guys. I know that, Sergeant Collins, we see each other more often than we'd like, maybe. But, I get it. Tensions are high down there right now. We get it. But I can say that as a resident, they're there. They have been there. Has it been perfect? No, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they have been there. They have been trying to do their best. I've actually seen them doing their job, what they're supposed to be doing. And unfortunately, in some incidents, there are residents who try to stop that from happening. And I witnessed that myself. So I just want to say as a resident, I told you guys, Sergeant Collins and your men who have been out there, thank you, because I appreciate it. I do see it. I know you guys haven't gotten a lot of, flack lately, but I want to say I want to appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a shooting in June, and recently I was very happy to see that those individuals were held, that they were recently caught and held, accountable for what their actions. They terrified our kids, and now they're being held accountable. So without the hard work that you guys do, that would not have happened. So I want to say thank you.
Sergeant Collins, Oklahoma Police. I'm a supervisor for detectives. Tidbit wise and whatnot, on October 29th, to add to the 29th, we have, it's the National Drug Take Back. There'll be a box set up in police headquarters. It's from 10 in the morning to 2. Any like prescriptions, expired, stuff like that, you can come and just drop it in the box. No questions asked. The only thing they ask is the DEA is just the e-cigarettes. If you're gonna drop them in there, the batteries have to be out of them. And if you don't know how to get rid of them, there's stuff online of how to get rid of it. You could just bring it back to either the store or submit it back to the company and they deactivate them and they get rid of them. That's what we're doing there. One other just little thing we've noticed, while we are trying the whole police department, I would just mention like the doors to the buildings. It's not just the housing staff or the police staff. If you notice your doors are propped open, stuff like that, we would ask residents to unprop them. It is something, I can tell you, I call Director Merchant all the time and Director Recco, 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's because they call me at 9, 10 in the morning also. But, it's an issue and it's something we're working on. We're trying to unjam them, but unfortunately we go around the corner and 20 minutes later, someone just puts something back in the door. So we got police ourselves also. We're available, we're trying our best. We'd like to also just thank, recently, when I was with you at the memorial, Director Recco did come down 10, 11 o'clock at night to address some issues with the police department. So police-wise, we do appreciate him coming down, Barbara, you were there that night, and everybody else that is helping, so it is appreciated. Any questions, whatever, I'm here, Captain's here, so, we'll do our best to answer anything.
Director, is the door at 320 fixed yet?
I don't know, the current update, I don't know, Oscar's not with us, I know they had the guys coming out this week, but I didn't get an update today. They're out there twice a week on that door. I mean, they're always out on that door.
I'm sure, because that's where the guys hang out, in there. So I think that, again, I'm gonna say it like I said it in the past, it's time for us to buckle down and hold these tenants accountable. Because you have a camera, you see who it is, if they don't live there, then let's file charges on them for breaking our stuff. And the ones that live there, let's hold that household accountable for it. We don't have time, we don't have any more time. We cannot continue to go down the road that we're going because we're losing our community, our kids in our community because of what's going on. So we don't have time for this anymore. Now it's time to, I get it, we're gonna get enemies. People are gonna be upset. But as long as we do it legally and correct, I don't think that it's wrong what we're doing. How could we ask for a better community and then not be part of fixing the problem? So you can identify the problem and I continue to say it and then not be a part of fixing the problem. So if we can get this again fixed, see how we can fix it. And if it's broken again, we would like to see charges on those individuals. And if you don't have anyone to identify who's doing it, I will gladly volunteer to go down there and look at the video and identify anyone that I
I just have one question, Chairwoman.
Sure, absolutely.
Sometimes we get residents that call up and say that they called you guys and there's someone in your hallway and no one ever comes. So can you just talk a little bit about the process? I mean, I know it's difficult to try to get out to everything.
I understand. So if there is an issue like that, it will be under review. We have the police chief and the command staff, Captain Jack Belly's on. If there is no answer, and you feel frustrated, let the director know. Let one of you know how to get in touch with us. Just give us the information, the details. It'll be forwarded. If I were to get it from the director or whatnot, I forward that. Ultimately, Captain Jack Belly's my commander. I give it to him. And there's always an internal investigation where it'll be investigated, and if something was wrong, there will be discipline, at the end of it. She had a question.
Are you gonna have a box here?
Not this, so the question was if we were gonna, I know that we've done that in the past, not this time around, but the next time around, when COVID is pretty much all done and out, we know that we normally do the 3 senior buildings on top of Madison Street and, 76 Schoolfield. Next time around, we'll plan that for that. For right now, that's Halloween weekend and whatnot, but we're gonna have it right in the lobby of headquarters, but next time around, most likely.
Thank you. Can we get that on the calendar? I didn't see the.
I think we were informed today, right? Or did we know about this?
I'll send it to you. I'll inform you.
Okay.
That's fine.
Great first monthly tidbit. I'll refer to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions, concerns, commissioners online? No?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Sure.
So we had a resident services committee can you hear me?
Yes.
So we had a resident services committee last night, and we were all talking about soul searching and thinking about what happened and how as an organization, what we could do better and how we could do better and like a call to action. And ultimately, we're responsible in some aspects. We have the board. And trying to come up with ways, which I think we will do, maybe we'll have an answer, not an answer, be a part of the solution in the next, be able to present something in the next couple of meetings. And just thinking about calls to action and ways in which we can all help, and trying to encourage others to help us. And I'll give you an example. Say I can encourage my friends to come down and participate in the families or trunk or treat, or come to the holiday celebration. Different people will be attracted to different pieces, but it's really one Hoboken community, whether you live here or you live in Midtown or you live uptown. So trying to share the love around and explain that we are responsible. It is at the Housing Authority, but we would like others to join us and to see that if something happened on this side of town, we would come and support you. So we are asking you, we're going to ask you as a whole, community as a whole, to come and support us. And that may look different for somebody with kids, somebody who works with seniors, somebody who just wants to make a new friend. But if we can try to get organized and call to action and to try to identify some needs, working with, because we are the landlord, Hopes is the expert, and all of our other partners are the experts. Maybe trying to tie some volunteer opportunities or some ways, because people often say, well, how do I help? What's a concrete way I can help? Giving that opportunity, and it could be as simple as a GoFundMe money to help certain things, but just giving ways in which the entire community can be a part of the solution.
Thank you. Did Red Forbes have something? Commissioner Forbes, did you have something?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so then we move on to the resolutions. Resolution 2022-1001, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve the meeting minutes for September 8, 2022, regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
You ready?
Yes.
A. Forbes,
Aye.
A. Impastato,
Yes.
A. Lewitt,
Yes.
B. Reyes,
Yes.
M. Russo,
Yes.
J. Sanford,
Abstain.
E. Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2022-1002, resolution authorizing the payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
Director? Call, roll call. Questions, concerns?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
Sorry.
So sorry.
Okay. The security, electronic security Inc., the 3800 one, is this the people in our buildings? Security alarm services and monthly monitoring, fourth quarter.
No, sir. So that is the monthly monitoring of our alarm panels and our security panels. It's not the day-to-day security.
Where is the day-to-day security?
So that has not hit the list of bills. We've been going back and forth with this company. We've been a little bit dissatisfied, and that's why I had mentioned that tomorrow, actually, we're going back out to bid on it. The company is called Aegis Security, and we're going back out. We will, at the end of the day, pay them for the services rendered, but that is not included in this list of bills.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I thought that's what we were paying.
No, so Securitas, is our kind of our monthly monitoring.
Okay, got it.
In the end, though, we will have some payment to this company.
Yeah, I know.
They put in some
Yeah,
time.
so we have to pay them for the services rendered, and we're not gonna really dispute them. They understand that. I think the consensus with Mr. Recco and Frank is that we are gonna probably keep this company, Aegis Security, on board until November 30th. And they're doing the senior buildings. and we will pay them for what we deem as correct as the services rendered, and then we'll move forward.
The boiler repairs, and that's kind of back to my original question about the inventory. Just curious which one this one was, or how many are in the 53,000? Because I know that we just got some new boilers, so I want to get my head around that. What we're spending, which boilers on, how old they are.
So the $53,000 cost is purely at Fox Hill, and that's for so Fox Hill runs on a electrical. It's like a boiler, but like that
crack.
system over there is just purely electric. So it's the repair over there. We actually had to replace the complete hot water heater. There's 3 hot water heaters over there. So I may have mislabeled it as far as if it's a boiler like repair, but it's the complete replacement.
These were the big water heaters, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
And we did an emergency declaration on this, and then there was supply chain issues, and it just came in.
So they're not boilers.
No, they weren't. They were
Just
water
incorrectly
heaters.
identified. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes,
yeah,
I apologize, Mr. Imbas. I apologize.
Yeah, just really want to see that boiler inventory. The number 12 under the back page here, Hoboken Lock and Key 1900. It says 2013 Ford 150 key with / without remote. Is that $1,900 for a new key to replace a key that was lost, or what are we doing there? And did you get 2 keys, one with a remote and one without?
No, there are multiple other locks that would change. Like I can if you'd like you could pull that off, or I could give you the detail on all. But it wasn't just for a key with from the I can try to pull that up, but that's up to you. Like if you want to hold it up, or if you want to.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not
Where is that? Where is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's under monthly maintenance expenses, Hoboken Lock and Supply, and my description is not, there's more to it, but it's 1,922, but it's not just for a key.
Are Sammy and Jackie on the line with us?
Yes.
You know about this, Sammy?
So the key that the one that the discussion is the one for the F-150. It was lost, and they had to service and rekey to the vehicle. So that company that we use as well to do our keys for our home, for the apartment doors. Is that clear for you?
One vehicle key for 1,900, Sammy? You know?
No, I don't think it's just for that one key, Mr. Recco. That's the same that's the same line we use to our apartment keys as well.
So I'll say if you want to make a motion for us to get back to you on this,
Yeah.
because I'm not comfortable with that.
I mean, we're just, I want to remind this organization that we're
I'm
in
sorry.
trouble. Every penny counts. I asked a question, I want to know exactly what it's for. That's it. I'm not looking at like $25 for boots. $1,900 is a lot. We could be fixing apartments, we could be painting, we could be doing things. I want to know what it's for. So yes, yes.
And I will work under the assumption that it's a valid expense, but we need to go back.
Yeah,
and
I'm not
explain
saying,
it.
you went to the bar, so I just want to answer what it is.
What number is that?
Number 12.
The next one, 19. Riccardi Brothers Paint Materials for vacant units, 8100. How many vacant units was this for to bid?
I'm not too sure we have the breakdown on exactly how many units. We are turning our units on a regular basis. I mean, if you want that type of information, we'd have to be asked ahead of time. I mean, again, we don't have it on this mobile. And if you want a breakdown on every paint purchase we do on how much we use per vacant unit on gallons, we can do it, but we haven't traditionally given that to you.
So, yeah, I guess maybe more like a process, so you guys go, okay, we've got 25 units to paint,
Right.
and then you go and buy the paint for those 25 units?
We do. I mean, we know how much paint we use, but I don't have it on my fingertips this afternoon.
No, I got it.
We've got Ms. Jackie who monitors every purchase made for our vacant units, but she doesn't supply us on this invoice with exactly how many units were painted for exactly how many gallons of paint. If the board's interested in getting that information, I'm sure we can supply it in the future.
I think honestly, what we need to do is get these bills ahead of time. If we had it a little bit sooner, then we can have these questions asked and maybe answered.
We got this one, this morning.
We would also agree with that, and my apologies for that. Emily and I talked about that this afternoon, and what we're gonna propose is that we try to get them to you that week ahead of time, and then you may have some changes. We may come up with some last minute ones, but you'll have the bulk of them along with the board packet.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Recco, I sincerely apologize, the server crashed, but it is my delay, so I will take the grunt on that. That the list of bills went out late, so that you could, and we will do our best to get at least a preliminary list of bills out by Friday when the package goes out, and then maybe I'll just star any amendments to it if that works for this board.
Would that be okay? Everybody agrees on that? Okay, that would be perfect, Emerald. Director, I have a question about monthly contractual expenses, number 2, $10,721. I don't know if that's one of the ones that you asked.
Accurate door and hardware?
Yeah, it's saying something about 220 Harrison Street. What door was that?
In unit 3A, Emma, can you help us with that?
Sure, just give me one moment, please. Timmy, do we know anything about 3A at 220? If you can try to expedite that. I'm trying to pull up my emails right now.
If we could just get we don't have to waste any more time on this. I guess, Director, if you could just get us, and I think we would all agree, if you can get us an explanation as to what was done for $10,000.
I'll get you a breakdown on the door, I'll get you a breakdown on the paint and on the key.
So you mentioned, Angela, you'd like something.
You wanna just hold the whole list of bills, and how do you wanna handle it?
Please, no. You know, we have a lot of.
We've done it before where we just take off the ones that were.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, it would be appropriate to make a motion to remove one item from the list of bills, and then you can take a vote on the entire list. So the appropriate thing would be to make a motion to remove any specific items.
So the motion I'd like to make a motion to remove the 2013 Ford 150, number 12, under monthly maintenance expenses. And then also, Barbara, you want to do the other
Yes.
one?
And I would like number 2 under the monthly contractual expenses for $10,721.67.
Okay, so there is a motion by Commissioner Impastato to remove those 2 specific items. Is there a second?
Second.
And then you can take a vote on this motion, and then reconsider the remaining list.
Director, you want to do
A Forbes,
Hey, guys, you sound very crackly. Like I can barely hear you. You're crackling up.
and can you hear me any better, Reverend?
If you had the mic, maybe.
Is that a little better? Is that a little better?
Yes.
We're ready for a vote. A Forbes,
Yes.
A Impastato,
Yes.
A Lewitt,
Yes.
B Reyes,
Yes.
M Russo. Aye. Jay Sanford,
Abstain.
E Seitzman.
Yes.
So now, Director, unless there are any other comments, we would take a vote on the list of bills as amended.
Good. We ready? A Forbes,
Yes.
A Impastato,
Yes.
A Lewitt,
Yes.
B Reyes,
Yes.
M Russo. Aye. Jay Sanford,
Abstain.
E Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2022-1003, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for auto and truck towing services.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, concerns?
Madam Chairwoman, if I could just ask 2 things. A lot of experience in towing with the parking business that I run. 2 questions. Does the towing company take credit cards? Because a lot of times we get concerns with the city picks a vendor and they only take cash. And it's very hard for a person to get their car back because you have to pay cash. So I wouldn't want to see one of our residents or somebody, a friend, family member, get towed and then they get stuck and they can't get their car back.
I do not know the answer to that. Emil, do you know the answer to that?
I don't believe so.
I never asked.
You guys have a city ordinance that says every towing company must be able to take, there's a couple things. There needs to be lights on the premise. So if you go to get your car at 3 in the morning, it's safe and secure. You have to take credit cards, and there's another one. But those are the 2 main ones that I know the city does.
Right.
So, I think it's important to duplicate whatever they do, we should be doing with ours.
So I would think that if it's a city ordinance, that if we were to approve this company, they would have to have that service.
So then we would have to go back and make sure that they have that
Right.
before we approve it.
Well, why before we approve it? We need a towing company, but why before we approve it, why would we have to do it? Because it was a city ordinance. They have to follow city ordinance. We don't enumerate every city ordinance or contractor.
So it's,
But it was done in the RFP.
So the city ordinance pertains to anyone contracting with the city, I believe. I don't know if it's any organization.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so I don't think it would apply here, to be honest with you. But the point is well taken. I think that's a good position for us to take as a board, because that convenience is needed, right? It's getting towed at, 9 o'clock at night where you're getting, cash, right? Yeah. So it's something that we definitely should consider. I don't know if that changes the whole dynamic of the bid and all of that, which it probably does, to be honest with you.
is it possible we can Harold pull up who was in the RFP that under one of the?
Well, I don't believe that was in the RFP. Never considered having
contractor.
So Commissioner Impastato, not to cut you off, but I've got the towing contractor on the phone right now, and he says that they do take credit card.
Great, amazing. We want to skip.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think the question's
And I will
answered.
point out, I will point out the other question raised by Commissioner Impastato, the requirement that the facility be lit is actually part of the RFP. The credit card requirement is not part of the RFP, but the lighting requirement is.
And just so maybe we should put that on the,
Anything in the future.
yeah. The next one was just to ensure that there's no predatory towing going on. State law passed, I don't know, 5 years ago. So they can't sit in the parking lot and just wait and then tow cars. We as a association have to call them.
Absolutely true.
Great, thank you. Awesome.
In their contract, it will say that they will be accepting credit cards, right? Because it doesn't say it when we ask this. I mean, I know we got verbal confirmation, but I just want to.
I wouldn't see any problem, Counselor, with that in the contract, would you, Counselor, as long as the company agrees?
No, correct. That can be part of the contract, and as usual, contract is subject to approval by the chair by way of her signature. So that's certainly something that can be worked in there. We obviously have the company representing that that's something that they accept and will agree to. So I don't foresee that being an issue.
Thank you.
Good,
Hope?
thank you, excellent. A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Impastato?
Yes.
A. Lewitt?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
J. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
A resolution of the Housing Authority of, I'm sorry, Resolution 2022-1004, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for physical needs assessment to determine obsolescence of Section 8 demolition with respect to the RAD program.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Any discussion? Next.
A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Impastato?
Yes.
A. Lewitt?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
J. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
Resolution number 2022-1005, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to amend the shared services agreement for participation in the Community Solar Energy Pilot Program with the City of Hoboken.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussion? Director, could you give us just,
Sure. Sure, give you a quick update. A number of months ago, you approved for us to enter into an agreement on the community solar program. And this is as the city has developed the program, they came up with this need for an addendum that was passed by the city council about a week ago. And so on our part, we're ready to put it before you and have it hopefully approved by you. This is a program that's going to bring back significant dollars for our resident organization and resident services functions. We'll see, but they're projecting somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a year that will come back to the Housing Authority for the use of the resident organizations. They would not be able to be spent by us without agreement by the residents and by the Housing Authority. So this is a great opportunity. It's essentially being able to put up solar power elsewhere that the money saved comes back to the residents. The idea, I think, behind it in the past has been only rich people get to help solar, get the benefit of solar power. This is the way of bringing benefit to poor people that can actually benefit from solar power being installed. So I think it's a great program, and I hope we approve it tonight.
Questions?
Any questions? Call the vote, Director?
A. Forbes,
Yes.
A. Impastato,
Yes.
A. Lewin. Yes. B. Reyes.
Yes.
M. Russo. Aye. J. Sanford,
No.
E. Seitzman.
Yes.
That was our last resolution.
Yes.
Councilman, I know that the councilman was here, unfortunately, he didn't come to our public portion, but if you'd like to speak, we would like to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, welcome to the fifth ward. It's great to have you here in Fox Hill. Just a few comments, and I apologize for missing public work. First, Hoboken had its first monkeypox clinic at 605 Jackson Gym this week. It was well attended. I've heard from people in Fox Hill that they're wondering about monkeypox. There have been regional places where you can get free vaccinations, but this was the first time that we had it in Hoboken. So we partnered with Hudson County Community Health. There will be another monkeypox clinic at 605 Jackson on November 10th. It's free. You can go to VaxHudson, VaxHudson.org to register, and I encourage residents of the Housing Authority to sign up for it. The folks who are eligible are on the website. People who've been paying attention to it probably are aware of this virus. It is spreading. It's not a pandemic state like COVID, but it is a disease you don't want to get. And if you're someone who's at risk and you've been exposed to it, this is something that the city provides for free. Second, I had the pleasure of visiting the new office space of the Housing Authority here at Fox Hill. There were discussions about some of the improvements that are going on the campuses, and there were 3 very happy people who were working behind the counter there, who were helping the residents of Fox Hill. I think it's good for the morale of the people in the building. I think it's good for the Housing Authority to invest in that office space there. There were questions at the meeting today about what's going on, what's being upgraded, what's being improved. I can tell you I've seen firsthand the investments that are being made right here in Fox Hill, and I want to thank the director and the Housing Authority for making those investments here. And finally, I just wanted to say something about Chris Garcia. The family lived in the Fifth Ward at 1100 block Jefferson. I've also been in touch with the family. I was with Director Recco at the funeral last Tuesday. I saw firsthand just how devastated this community was by this tragedy. And the whole city mourns for the Garcia family, and we're all with him. I've been in touch with his brother and also with Mr. Selma, who's mentioned, the dear friend of the family. One of the things that is happening right now is that there is a GoFundMe that is actively there to support the family. If you search for Chris Garcia funeral under GoFundMe, you'll find the fund that's there. The money goes directly to the family. They've exceeded their goal already, but I think it's a way that we can do something now. We can decide what kind of memorials will happen in the future, but this is a GoFundMe that exists right now. And I would encourage people to go to the GoFundMe site, to show any donation will be appreciated. It will go directly to the family. It's something that my family's contributed to, and I encourage other families to do it as well. And again, just my heartfelt sympathies to his family and to the community and to his many dear friends who were absolutely devastated by this death. We saw it at the funeral firsthand. It was just awful. And I hope to never go to another funeral like it. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Does anyone have anything else to say? Anything else anyone would like to share? As the chairwoman, I just want to say to our council people who are here that we are planning on reaching out to you guys, meeting with you guys. We have obviously, we have a lot of work to do. And I know that the majority of the work the board has to do, but we cannot do it without the leaders that are on the top. Without your support to help us, we can't get anything done. So I know that that's something that we, as Vice Chair mentioned, a call for action. We will be reaching out to you guys. We want everyone's input. But more than their input, we also need your support. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, Council.
Yes, thank you.
Motion closed?
Motion to close?
Second.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Councilor, good meeting. Thank you.
Rhonda, I'll get you as much information as I can. I'll send you the video and I'll give you
Thank
some
you.
names.
I just put my email address in the